and I have decided to try and make a pitch to NBA superstar and unrestricted free agent Kevin Durant this offseason. He is currently playing for the Golden State Warriors and is believed to be looking for a big payday in his next contract. We are working for the Minnesota Timberwolves, a place where he would be the leader of the team and the face of the franchise. And although we would have to move some pieces around, we believe we can give Kevin Durant the supermax deal that he's been looking for, along with the recognition for winning a championship with his own team. Durant is an unrestricted free agent next year, but he also has a player option. And basically what that means is that he is free to sign with any team that he wants in the NBA, but he can also decide to re-sign with the Golden State Warriors for a year before becoming a completely unrestricted free agent. And the free agent period starts on July 1st at 12:01 a.m. and it ends on July 6th. Players aren't allowed to sign any contracts during this period. It's called the July moratorium, but most NBA players and NBA teams come up with verbal agreements during this time, but you just can't sign anything on paper. And this rule was created just to ensure that NBA teams and players have time to fully understand all their options.
So rules and regulations that we had to come up where if we were trying to acquire Kevin Durant, we would obviously have to clear up salary cap, and we have certain guys on our team that are taking up a lot of money, including Andrew Wiggins, who's making about $25 million a year this year, and that's going to increase by 2 years every year for the next 5 years. So what we would have to do possibly for that would try to propose a trade of Andrew Wiggins to someone of equal value. And for example, Buddy Hield, who is a promising young player, but still not nearly on Andrew Wiggins' level in the eyes of most teams. We see a lot of potential in him as a possible third or fourth scoring option for our team after a solid season with the Kings. And Sacramento will agree to the trade because they're in need of an athletic star wing to complement the young core in De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley as they look to turn themselves into a playoff contender. The Wolves would get a young, talented shooter to space the floor for Kevin Durant and Karl Anthony Towns.
As far as business considerations go, obviously a player like Kevin Durant would be great for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he would bring a lot of attention to the team, and it would also make Minnesota a more attractive destination for maybe other free agents or maybe good veteran or role players, just to help us build into a real championship contender. And then also a guy like Kevin Durant brings things like jersey sales, ticket sales, excitement around the team, excitement around the city in Minneapolis, and he'd be a beloved player. It'd be good for his brand. It'd be good for our brand. Obviously, Minnesota it's a very loyal fan base. Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins have been here for a long time, and they've both been shown nothing but love while they've been here. So we think it would be a win-win for both sides.
So based on another kind of our plan of getting Durant would be the Redu generation. If we were able to get Kevin Durant to sign with us instantly, people would be buying season tickets around Minnesota, all over, even probably other places in the Midwest, just to come out and see Kevin Durant, and knowing that bringing Kevin Durant to the Timberwolves organization would add huge value to and possible becoming a championship team. And like Ethan was saying earlier, there'd be an increase in a lot of the clothing apparel with Durant's name on it would be sold. And another positive getting Durant to sign with Timberwolves is that adding a high-profile player like that to our team, we would land us better television deals and get us scheduled for more primetime games, which in turn gives us the opportunity to get even more fans from outside the Midwest of the United States. Basketball is a global game and an all-time great, like Kevin Durant can get his jersey purchased by fans from California all the way to Japan. As far as ticket sales go, Kevin Durant's current team has sold out every single home game since he joined their team. This is why getting him to the Timberwolves would give a tremendous spark to our total revenue generation.
Okay, financial implications, just some things that we would need to handle before we would be able to acquire Kevin Durant. There is obviously a salary cap, and in order to get Kevin Durant, we'd have to clear up some space in that salary cap. That's why, as I stated earlier, we would be making the moves to trade Andrew Wiggins for Kings guard Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield is a good young player, and his contract right now is very agreeable. He's making about $3 million per year for the next 4 years. I think it goes up a little bit in his last 2 years. It puts him at about $15 million, and Andrew Wiggins' contract is about for $150 million. So if we clear that up, while paying Buddy Hield, that would leave us with around $135 million. And then just besides that, we've got some role players like Taj Gibson and Luol Deng. They're older guys and they're on the back end of their career, so they really won't demand a ton of money. They'll have to take pay cuts, which should be okay with them because obviously at that stage in your career, most guys are just looking to win a championship. So what we want to do is cut Taj Gibson's $14 million contract down to $7 million, bring Jared Bayless from $8 million to $4 million, decide not to re-sign Anthony Tolliver, who's getting almost $6 million, and either give Luol Deng a pay cut or not re-sign him because he is at $2 million. All these moves put together free up around $19 million in cap space that we can add on to the $135 million that we save from making the Andrew Wiggins and Buddy Hield trade for a grand total of $144 million in cap room that we can offer to Kevin Durant.
And so like marketing communication strategies would be building the brand. And what this means is that if we were able to acquire Durant somehow, we need to look at how we can use in ways off the court to make him and get the best outcome of this deal as possible to help the Timberwolves organization. If Minnesota Timberwolves were able to hit a home run and sign Kevin Durant this offseason, he'd have tremendous impact on the growing and developing of the brand. Durant's impact wouldn't just grow their brand through Minnesota and the Midwest, but it would also help the Timberwolves be known more worldwide. Communication strategies behind this deal could be endless as well, starting with flying Durant across the world and making his name and image more known than it already is. Durant is already having a very big community service contributor, so the Timberwolves could have him and other big names for the organization help out in areas around the world with high levels of poverty. This would provide a great look for the Timberwolves and Durant's image to gain more fans and support across the nation. Also would be good for rebuilding Durant's reputation, knowing that it was kind of a weak move, him leaving for Golden State. But if he were to come back to Minnesota fans are known as the Minnesota Knights and could rebuild his reputation and not be known as kind of a hated player throughout the league.
Okay, SWOT analysis. Our strengths for bringing Kevin Durant is if we brought Kevin Durant to our franchise, obviously that would attract a lot of fans and make us a contender for an NBA championship. He's a great scorer and a skilled passer and defender. That would just help our team in general. Weaknesses, there's not too many weaknesses of bringing a player like that to